One thing you need to know about me is I don't fit in, and I don't want to fit in. Have you ever seen me without this stupid hat on?
Yes, that is why I'm taking this hat off right now. That was my impression of Cole Sprouse in Riverdale. I will never, ever be doing that ever again. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Chlorinated Thoughts. Today, I will not be talking about Riverdale, but I am going to be talking about how you can learn to be alone and not feel lonely, and why it is good for you to be alone, because it is something I think that we should all be doing in our lives. I think a lot of people struggle with being alone, like being happy with their own company. If you are that person, I want to give you some pointers. Step out of being alone and feeling lonely and move into actually enjoying being alone, because it is something that is so beneficial for you. You want some popcorn? You're not getting any. Yeah. Today, I'm going to tell you why being alone is crucial for self love. My journey with being alone is honestly, I would say, is a pretty smooth sailing one. I've always really craved like being alone and like spending time alone. Like I feel like I have a good social battery, but also I need that time for myself to be able to recharge and spend time with myself in order to relationships are really important with other people, and maintaining those relationships are important, but maintaining your relationship with yourself is also something super important that some people don't naturally have, and like are not taught that when they're young. When I'm alone, I feel good and I feel like I have a strong relationship with myself. When I feel like I am not spending enough time alone, I really start to feel very detached from myself. And it really is like the same as any relationship that I have, is if I don't spend enough time with them, I kind of feel detached. Like quality time is one of my love languages. And if I'm not maintaining that with my loved ones, but also not maintaining that with myself, I start to feel really detached from myself, which is really interesting. I think it's a good quality to have. Like it's good to be able to, want to just be alone and be by yourself and do things that you want to do without anyone necessarily being there with you to like entertain you. Those are my credentials to help you. And I do understand that it can vary also from like what kind of period you are in your life. And I feel like the main reason a lot of people don't like to be alone is they don't like the thoughts and feelings going on in their head. Like they don't enjoy listening to their thoughts, or like, having to be alone with your thoughts. And some people just want to avoid or like not face those feelings that come up when you do spend time alone. And some people also attach a certain type of emotion to being alone. They're like, being alone makes me sad, being alone makes me, depressed, makes me anxious, blah, blah, blah. And people will do a lot of things to avoid that feeling, even though sometimes you do need to face that feeling. And facing that feeling will help eliminate that feeling in the long run. Probably when you're in a good headspace in your life, you are fine with spending time alone. But when you're going through a breakup, or you're in a bad headspace, you want to surround yourself with people to kind of get you distracted from that. And I think that's like a fine thing to do. I think that's healthy, but I think it starts to become unhealthy when you will do anything and everything in order to be with someone and like avoid being alone, because then you can see that there is some kind of feeling that you're avoiding when you are alone. And count how many times I say alone in this video. Sorry. I think another main factor in why some people don't like to be alone is that they are comparing themselves to their friend group that might be out at the time, or they're on social media and they're like, oh, these people are hanging out, like I have to, next time they ask me to hang out, I have to go because I have FOMO. Maybe the reason you're avoiding being alone is because you don't want to be missing out on like what your other friends are doing, or you don't want to be missing out on the fun. But I can guarantee you a lot of the time is not as it's not as fun as you really think it is. When you feel that feeling of, okay, I want to be alone right now, but I'm scared I'm going to miss out on something, so I'm going to go do this. Like I think most of the time you'll regret that. I get like getting out of your comfort zone and being like, oh, I have to like go and like, have fun. I get that. But sometimes when you crave that feeling of, okay, I just want to chill, like whatever, trust your gut, like trust what your gut is telling you. What does it really mean to be alone but to not feel lonely? I pulled up the official definitions of the two, and there's one very significant difference. So, being alone, having no one else present. That's it. Being alone is just having no one else present. Being lonely, though, sad because one has no friends or company. See, being lonely versus being alone is lonely is the negative emotion you add to being alone. So once you really find the piece of the puzzle that takes away that negative emotion of being alone, you will have found the cure to being alone but not feeling lonely. If you do not want to feel like be alone, then you don't have to be alone. Like, I'm not telling you, oh, you always have to be alone and you have to be fine with being alone, blah, blah, blah. I mean, you do have to be fine with being alone, but you don't always need to be alone. And this is not something where I'm like, isolate yourself from everyone and stuff, because that also has its negative effects and has very negative effects. So but that's not what I'm saying. I want to give you guys some like scientific benefits of being alone that you guys may not have known. Spending more hours alone was linked with increased feelings of reduced stress, suggesting that solitude has calming effects. And I definitely agree with this as someone that loves to spend time alone. It really does put some things into perspective for me that I would not have like been able to reflect on if I wasn't spending time alone. It really does reduce my stress because I can like work through all my emotions and work through all my thoughts and reflect on the things that like have happened throughout the day, the way I've acted, the way other people have acted, that help me make conclusions about things that I otherwise wouldn't have been able to do. Another thing that it has showed is that it has also been related to feeling freedom to choose oneself. So feeling the freedom of being like, okay, I choose myself over someone else. I don't need someone else to make me happy. I don't need someone else's company in order for me to be entertained or be content with myself. Personally, what I felt is it really does help me reflect on social situations that may have happened and like really understand and make conclusions about those things and analyze my behavior, analyze other people's behavior. Like, at all of the things that I think about when I'm alone is like, how have other people acted towards me? Is that good for me? Is that bad for me? What do I do in order to make it better? Or, eliminate the bad things in my life. It really does help me understand how I feel about other people and how other people may feel about me. This is obvious, but it really does give you time to recharge your social battery, and be able to, be in a social setting and not feel like you're draining people, or not feel like other people are draining you. You're present in the moment, and when you feel like, okay, I'm tired, I don't want to talk to anyone anymore, I can go and recharge my social battery. It really does make me firm in myself, and it really lets me decrease your reliance on relying on other people to feel happy. What we're going to do now is I'm going to try and change your perception of being alone. And a good way to start is try to spend time alone. When you feel alone, analyze like, what am I feeling right now? What are some things that will make me feel better? I think for me, a lot of the things I do when I am alone is I like pursue my hobbies, and I have passions in life that will distract me, or like I have passions in life that will keep me from getting bored in a way, when I am alone. So I love to crochet. I have this YouTube channel. I love to plan for this YouTube channel, or my podcast. crochet is like the new thing. I really just like flip hobbies so fast, it's actually insane. And the problem is I buy like all the stuff for it, and then like maybe after a few months I just don't do it anymore. So it's like a, I don't know, but sometimes I like recycle them, so I like eventually get back to the hobby that I did maybe a year ago or a few months ago. I don't know if that's a toxic habit, but it's better than being bored. These are the things that I love to do and when I'm alone, and therefore for me it like adds a positive connotation towards being alone, because I'm like, okay, when I'm alone I get to do all these things that I love to do, and therefore it makes me look forward to wanting to do those things. One thing I also really want to tell you guys is, when you are spending time alone, try to completely eliminate looking at like what your friends are maybe doing right now, or what other people may be doing, that other people are with their friends, because you might start to feel like, oh, I am like missing out, and I feel like really bad now that like, what if they're doing something that I want to do, or like what if there's something funny that I'm gonna miss. Like, I promise you, baby girl, it's really not that deep. And if they are true friends, they're going to be like, they understand that you need your own time to be alone, and they will understand and not make you feel left out when you are not there. If you do feel like your friends will make you feel left out after you have not hung out with them for one day, eliminate those friends. Like, literally, like, that's low-key gonna be the best decision you ever made in your life. Another thing you can do to feel less lonely when when you are alone is you can watch a YouTube video of someone also being alone. Like, hello, me, I'm alone right now. Hello. Hello, my name is Leah and I'm alone right now. And if you are alone, know that we are alone together. And it really does like kind of, give you comfort in being like, okay, like, this person's alone, and that's not a bad thing if I'm alone. My next thing I want to get into is like, how can you discover yourself while being alone? How does being alone lead to self growth and discovery? I think to discover yourself, it is crucial to spend time alone. You can do so many things alone. Like, you can literally do anything alone. Like, I really have been able to reflect on who has been toxic to me in the past, or who's a real friend when I am alone, which is like funny because like, how would know that? But it's really interesting how your true friends versus like not really your true friends react when you tell them you just want to like spend time alone. Like, you can really tell which friends respect your boundaries versus which friends don't. One other thing I learned is I really need to have background noise while I like am alone, which I don't like. It's not, it's not necessarily a good thing, but it's something that I do and something I've discovered about myself and learned about myself while being alone. Like, self discovery isn't always good or bad. Like, sometimes it's neutral, but yeah, I always usually need to have like some kind of background noise on. I really have realized if I'm not spending enough time by myself, I start to feel pretty overwhelmed. I really start to just, my thoughts jumble up, and I feel like when I'm not spending enough time alone, I cannot organize those thoughts. And I think that's really important to be able to do, is be able to organize your thoughts and be alone with your thoughts. And like, it prevents you from feeling more overwhelmed because you feel like you haven't faced your emotions. One last thing that I've learned, there's probably a lot more things that I've learned that I like can't really think of right now, but I have learned that I love to just create things. I love to like, I love the concept of making something with your own two hands, and like, if you have the will to do it, you can create it by yourself. And that's something I've really learned, is I really love to really just be creative when I'm alone, and just, create things that will make me happy or will fulfill me in a way that I'm like, oh wow, I made that. So yeah, that is today's video. I really hope you guys enjoyed. If you enjoyed this video, you will definitely enjoy this other video, which is on the screen right now. So go watch that after this video. Make sure to subscribe to my channel because that will support me so much. I would be very grateful if you did that. And also like the video to help our community to grow, and we can all be besties together and be baddies together. And yeah, that's really all I have for you guys today. I really hope you enjoyed today's video, and I will see you next week with a new video. Bye!